Rodgers is set to make history by following in the footsteps of former Pittsburgh Steelers Terry Bradshaw. Aaron Rodgers has a minor fractured wrist on his non-throwing arm, and he is trying to actually play in this next week's game. The Pittsburgh Steelers, who beat the Cincinnati Bengals this past Sunday, had Aaron Rodgers leave in the first half and had Mason Rudolph finish the game, who won the game 34-12. Mike Tomlin reported today that Aaron Rodgers is not having to have surgery, and there is no timetable as to when he will return or if he's going to miss time. So I wanted to hop into this story because I think it's interesting to see what can a quarterback do, how can a wrist injury like this impact a quarterback on their non-throwing arm. I think this is an interesting story. What do you think about this? Aaron Rodgers has played 10 games this year. He is 6-4, has a 66.4% completion percentage, just under 2,000 yards throwing. He also has 19 touchdowns and 7 interceptions to go with that. Now, we are talking about a future Hall of Fame quarterback that is most likely in the last year of his career. It is obvious to me why he doesn't want to have this wrist injury be the end of his season and potentially also his career. Now again, this is on his non-throwing arm, so let's think about all the situations where a fractured wrist on your non-throwing arm could impact Aaron Rodgers' play. To me, there's actually quite a few scenarios. Number one, snapping the ball under center. That's got to be in an awkward position to put your hands underneath the quarterback. You have to rotate your wrists a certain way in order to effectively take a snap under center. I wonder if he's going to start doing more shotgun because of that fact alone. You also have to wonder if he gets hit and he's going to fall to the ground, he's no longer able to use his non-throwing arm to brace that fall. He's not going to be able to put weight on that wrist if he wants to be able to continue to play. The amount of pain that he would probably experience from that fall and falling on that wrist would be enough to probably keep him out of the game for at least a little bit. You also have to wonder, what happens if he's running with the ball? Is he going to be able to take on a tackle in that situation, or is he just going to have to fall? I wonder if this is going to impact the Steelers from a sense that he's not going to be able to play to the best of his abilities. You know this is going to be in the back of his mind. It's not like this Steelers offensive line is like the steel curtain. He is getting hit fairly often. Having a fractured wrist and trying to play in a situation like this, it's admirable, but you have to wonder again, how much is this going to impact him? And does that impact how the Steelers perform on a week in, week out basis if he's not able to play to his full potential? It's not going to impact necessarily how he throws the ball, but when you take a snap, when you take a hit, that wrist is going to cause problems. What happens if he falls on that wrist? What happens if a helmet comes and hits him in that wrist? Is he going to be able to continue to play? How much pain is that going to really experience? I have to admire him for wanting to play. I also know that he's looking at this as probably the last season in his career. Right now, the Steelers are in first place in the AFC North, and so they are slotted for a playoff spot. And you have to believe Aaron Rodgers understands that and knows that he has to continue to play if they want to maintain this position. Because the Baltimore Ravens are right behind them, and the Cincinnati Bengals should be expecting Joe Burrow back in a couple of weeks. I do find it interesting that Terry Bradshaw also did this as a Pittsburgh Steeler. He led the Steelers at that time to a 9-5 record and actually lost in the playoffs to the then AFC champions. But again, that is the Steelers' way. This is a tough, gritty organization, and clearly Aaron Rodgers has adopted that mentality. I know a lot of people give him a lot of hard times. They don't really like him, his personality. They think he's a little bit flaky or just aloof. People talk about the fact that he has a mysterious wife. But again, if you're willing to play with a fractured wrist in the NFL, I have to give my props to you. How do you think this is going to impact Aaron Rodgers? Do you think he's going to be able to come back and play this season? That's it for me today. Thank you again for watching. This is Bad Takes with Bad Takes in Football, signing out.